back of the rim. Got it! Oh, the slam! Oh, here's a Curry way downtown. Oh, what a shot from Curry!
It was a brutally honest message, and the guys that are fully won't hear it. You know, they'll say coach is tripping. And the guys that maybe do really care will, because they're not going to go back and watch their minutes, because nobody watches their minutes, nobody watches film. So we'll have to show them the film. And
wow. Okay, so it's somewhat safe to say if you were in the right circles and lightly paying attention, this firing doesn't come as a total shock. But to most of the world, including myself, even knowing what Denver season has been, this is still a gigantic shock right before the playoffs. If you've been following the channel, you already know I've been looking at Denver funny. It's kind of been this way since they won the championship and they've declined ever since. But my most recent tip kind of came in the Pacers game. Specifically in the first half, there were just what seemed to be some grade level defensive mistakes, and I was suspicious. I didn't think they were firing the best coach they've ever had. Wow. I think people still believe Denver has been in a much better position than they actually were, though. I told y'all my thoughts about them twice in the last few months. In the halfway through the 2020s video, I showed you their draft bank. They only have a couple picks left for the rest of the decade. Look at the rest of their draft bank in the relatively near future. It's not good. Jamal Murray, not the Murray we were expecting years ago. Hey, here in 2025, he's still okay. He's just not what we thought he would be in terms of being a number 2 next to Jokic. Being that they just won a championship 2 years ago, you'd kind of think the goal was to keep the team contending, keep them competing for titles. And if you wanted to keep it that way, they just don't have too many options. Look at their roster. What can they actually trade here to make a superb difference? It would have to be one of those deals that kind of just falls out of the sky, which I feel like that only happens in LA. So when it came time for the contenders video, I was basically going, look, it's a good team. They are entertaining. They have Jokic. They are always going to be, at this rate, a tough playoff team. I still had them in the section of contenders where, well, hey, just not really contenders at all. I had them in the section of a team which would kind of need to be lucky to go win this specific year. They've only gotten worse. Look at their defense, look at the personnel, and it's why I was so confused why Calvin Booth would always just talk so much if you didn't know he's getting the boot too. Denver's money situation was always kind of complicated. I believe a lot of us were speaking about this before they even won the title. It was just so confusing to see him come out against key title supporting pieces and basically go, hey, we're unbothered, we're probably going to lose them, and we have their replacements right here. They did not have their replacements. They had acceptable fill-ins to play with Jokic. They didn't have replacements. They also didn't have the roster to take the hit of, once again, Murray just taking a step back. So if you're Denver, it is beyond time to start being honest about where you actually are. You got one of the best players ever. You lost out on 2 years of the run because Jamal Murray's injury. You won one, immediately started descending, and now you're here where, once again, your guy can rack up and win an MVP. The team's gonna have a good record. They might even finish top 4. Thing is, in the West, that just don't mean much. You might wake up and be in the play-in, and by virtue of that, maybe not even be in the playoffs. So for anyone who maybe hasn't been paying too much attention to the actual basketball happening, no, Denver being second once and now being top 4 and probably a 50-win team does not mean they're in a great situation. They aren't. Clearly. As you saw at the beginning, Malone's message on the way out, it roughly translates to some people here, some of the guys on the team don't give a shit. Combine that with the pressure of going into the playoffs in a couple of weeks, which for some reason, apparently Denver's management believed this was going to give them a jolt. Okay, I guess that's translation of we're getting rid of the coach the locker room doesn't like. This team, I would heavily bet against winning a championship this year. Not happening. And you're going to go into the offseason and have to find a direction for a roster with little flexibility and on year 6 of Jokic's domination, or era, I guess you would say. You can debate that year number. Also, combine all of this with a probably forgotten interview from the beginning of the season where they were doing so poorly. Jokic in an interview flat out said, yeah, I guess we should probably start paying the guys on the team relative to what they're actually producing. Yeah, it's not a comment you make when things are going great. It just isn't. Speaking of the Joker, let me turn your attention to something real fast. Next February, he's going to be 30 years old. He is also then going to be on the 2026 portion of his deal, which is only 1 year removed from pretty much his player option. We know how those work. It's for 28. meaning the 27 season, if there's no extension, you get into hot water. Just watch that happen with De'Aaron Fox. Now, I bring that up because I think we would all just assume a guy like Yoke would be a one-teamer, a lifer, though he's expressed his frustration. Once again, Denver is going to need some help getting back to the level they were a couple of years ago, and I don't know if it's going to happen over summer. And that makes this sheet really, really bad. This is a Reddit post kind of covering what's happened since Booth signed KCP and Brown in 2022. And some of this is, oh my. Bruce Brown and Jeff Green got to sign elsewhere. Reggie Jackson got a 2-year with a player option. Zeke Naji got a 4-year with a player option. Brian Dunn was traded, and 3 second rounders. KCP got to go, 3 more second rounders, and Reggie Jackson went away for cash considerations. Dario Saric got a player option. Russ has an option. Oh, Jamal, 4 years, $208 million, September 2024. He's just starting it, and it's the contract of a guy who's there to help your team win long term. That's money used so you can be the number 2 for the best player in the league. He's good. Objectively, right now, he is not 4 years, $200 million good. That is a problem. It's a problem because it's kind of the vibes of a situation you can find around the league where there's organizations who low-key need to figure things out quick if they want to keep certain guys happy, and they're dealing with problems that aren't quick fixes. The quick fix for improving a roster, which is kind of just strapped, oof, it normally leads to desperation. And desperation, well, we're seeing the 3rd stage of desperation in Phoenix, actually, right now as we speak. Yeah, this firing is more fascinating to me because of the implications of the future and the fact that it drags a spotlight over the reality they haven't been in a great situation since winning. I feel like it's been masked. This is tied for the latest coaching change in NBA history. We haven't seen this since the 80s. What's pretty much going to happen in this next couple of months, barring some huge surprise, they are going, well, okay, first of all, I can't say what's about to happen in the West because, yeah, realistically, they should make the playoffs. We just don't actually know right now. Assuming they make it, once again, no way to see the seeding right now. I still think this is a team that makes it no further than the 2nd round. Could see it in the conference finals, probably at this rate and the vibes, probably 2nd round. And then they are going to have to make every call possible they can this summer to try to salvage. This clearly, if you've been watching, it's not a team that's just gonna get better and go magically win next year. They're missing very specific things. They don't have too many ways to go get those specific things. Once again, hence there may be a need for desperation. There's a certain somebody moving this summer as well, but I don't at all know if that's realistic at the moment. All I know is the NBA doesn't wait. The business of basketball doesn't wait. Time simply ticks. I'm looking at Devin Booker in Phoenix just hooping while absolutely nothing positive happens around him, and clock ticks. I can only wonder for a guy who could very well win another MVP. I don't know. He's probably eventually going to. He's put his stamp on this decade. Clearly, he's the centerpiece of title teams. I don't know. Does he want to be 32 years old next time he gets in a winning situation? Hey, the one thing I will tell y'all, go back to my 2020s video I made in December. Start studying the business of basketball, guys. Denver has been in a worse situation than it's been given credit for over this year. Not bad enough to theorize Malone was going to be fired, but it hasn't been good, and all you had to do was look at their business. Look how it's gone for 2 years. Look at the possibilities of where it's going. Look where they are now. It hasn't been good, and it is this way for a lot of organizations. So if you're a fan of a team and you're waiting for that magic punch, I'm telling you, go look at the business. It might tell you a little bit about what's going to happen in the next 1 to 3 years. Let me know what you think is going to happen to Denver. This, once again, interesting for the murky future. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, comment, and sub, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video drops. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.